The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 747. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap-Chan, and today I have an amazing lady on the show today. She is a creative entrepreneur and also a singer-songwriter, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Kimi Liope. Hi, Kimi. How are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more by yourself to the listeners.
Thank you so much for having me, Sheena. I'm so excited to talk with you and just enlighten ourselves. I'm originally from San Francisco, and I grew up between San Francisco, France, and Hawaii. I was adopted by my stepfather when I was 7, and he basically raised me. I went to school in San Francisco and spent my summers in France, and then have moved around a lot. I've lived in Hawaii, New York, and now I live in LA.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Kimi, what's your cultural background?
I am ethnically Filipina. I'm half Filipina, a quarter German, and a quarter Irish, but I was raised French American.
Thanks for sharing that. And what'd be your favorite self-confidence quote?
My favorite self-confidence quote is by Albert Einstein, and it is, "Great minds often encounter violent opposition from mediocre minds."
Thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
I think self-confidence is being self-sustaining. I remember when I wasn't self-confident, I coped in very different ways with trying to relate to the outside world rather than looking inward. And for me, self-confidence is really in that self-control, and that all comes from self-love.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Kimi, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I think I spent a lot of time really convincing myself that everything was okay, and really putting up with a lot of things that I could and should have said no to. I think that a lot of things, if not most things, and most great things in life stem from loving yourself first. I spent really almost 30 years of my life prioritizing other people because I didn't feel worthy. And what self-confidence has brought to me is it's created a space for me to be myself and to have wants and needs that before I didn't really feel I was worthy of.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something we all can relate to, right? Especially, putting others first before us. I mean, like it's great that we can prioritize that, but sometimes we have to realize we have to prioritize ourselves first, and that we should be okay to say no to the things that don't, that we don't want to do. I know sometimes we want to be polite and just do it for the sake of not making any trouble, but if it hurts you, you have to stand up and say no to it, right? It's good for our soul. And it really helps us with our confidence. And what was that point in your life when you realized you can go out there and be who you are today, have that confidence? What was that aha moment?
I think the aha moment for me came when me trying to help and save other people really just stopped working for me. I think that I spent so much time working on others as a way to kind of cope with my own low self-worth that I got to a point where I was just funneling all of my energy into other people and really not getting the results that I wanted because I was creating these expectations of trying to fix others and then not being happy with the results. And I think in the end, now in retrospect, I realized that they could have really done anything and I wouldn't have been happy because I wasn't happy with myself. So I guess my aha moment was at the end of a relationship that I had had where I had put all of this love and energy into somebody else, really forgetting about myself and working my schedule around somebody else all the time. And then that person ended up leaving me. And it really just set off this light bulb in my head at the same time as like my whole world crumbled, because I realized that I could give everything to somebody else, and that in the end, if I wasn't giving to myself, that there were really no results in that.
Thanks for sharing that. And I know it's when we enter in a relationship, we feel like we have to, be that person who has to give everything to the ones we love, and because we love them at the same time. But sometimes we just have to take a step back and realize, like, am I doing this out of love, or am I doing this out of because I want to please a person or seek approval? And sometimes that really hurts us. And like what you mentioned, right? Like the person broke up with you. And I think we've all been through that. I've been through that where, the same thing happened. I was so afraid of losing that person, and the person left me anyway. And, like you said, you think it's the end of the world, but sometimes when one door closes, another one opens. And we go through that breakup phase where we cry ourselves to sleep and eat ice cream and just be depressed because it's part of the process. But one day you'll wake up and you will stop crying, right? And you'll feel better about yourself. And, tomorrow's another new day, or today's another new day, and anything's possible. And because of your realizations, what's your life been like now?
My life has just been completely different. I mean, that breakup happened almost exactly 2 years ago now. And it really propelled me into really taking care of myself, even in the tiniest of ways, like learning how to say no to things that weren't serving me, and, trying slowly every day to not feel guilty for saying no, and for, giving myself some worth, and being like, maybe I don't want to go all the way to the other side of town. Maybe I can just ask this other person in a meeting to come to my side of town, or we can meet halfway, and to not have to feel guilty about that. I think that it's a daily process, and it's not like we just decide on it one day to be like, I'm going to start taking care of myself, and then it's all said and done. It's really a step-by-step basis on like little tiny things each day. You can start with just like waking up and either working out or taking a shower, or just sometimes getting out of bed and acknowledging that, and, getting out of your depression for like even just 5 minutes of your day is really just a step towards self-care. And with every step of self-care comes a little bit more self-respect. So it's really just kind of this high mountain to climb, but if you just take it one step at a time, it really helps.
Thanks for sharing that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
Just be patient with yourself. You deserve to be happy. You have needs, you have wants, and those deserve to be heard. And no matter what you think you may or may not deserve, there are people out there who are willing to listen. And it's just about finding the people who are willing to listen, build a community, even if it just starts with one person, share. And, I think that in this day and age, we all more than ever need each other, and we have more resources than ever to actually connect. So it's really important to go where you're loved, and it's okay to be vulnerable.
Thanks for sharing those great tips. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do and check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yes, I am an artist, and I do a lot of singing and songwriting. I'm also starting a blog. You can find me at kingklio.com. That's Klio, like Cleopatra, but with a K and an I. So kingklio.com.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Kimi, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Kimi's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Kimi today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Kimi.
Thank you.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out cool resources, blog articles, show recaps, and so much more. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.